Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you all here to the Eagle Scout ceremony of Marcus Smith, Travis Mason, and Addison Mann. I'd welcome Levi Webb and Troop 169 for the colors.
Color guard advance, scout salute, or hand over your heart. Prepare to post the colors. Post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Next, I would like to introduce Reverend David Lawrence for the invocation.
Good afternoon. I'm the pastor at the Presbyterian Church, and it's truly an honor and a privilege to host Troop 169, just as it's an honor and a privilege to be asked to offer the invocation today. Please pray with me. God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as family, friends, leaders, as fellow scouts on this significant day in the life of Addison, Marcus, and Travis. Today is a celebration of a journey full of challenges, friendship, struggles, and occasionally a little fun. Today, we think of all the merit badges that were earned along the way, the oaths committed to. We remember the character of these young men and how we've watched it develop. We've seen their service to our community. We've seen how hard these three young men worked. Little by little, month by month, and year by year, they were faithful, and we celebrate their faith, their commitment, and hard work. So we ask for God's blessing on Addison, Marcus, and Travis. We pray for their families who supported and encouraged them. We pray for their fellow scouts who helped them along the way. God, bless the scout leaders. Bless Troop 169. And all of those who are here physically or in spirit. Continue to walk with these three young men as they take the next steps in becoming scouts and the people that you desire them to be. Amen.
Next, I would like to welcome Levi Webb, presenting merit badges and advancements to Troop 169.
Well, as you know, we have other scouts who have also been working on merit badges throughout the year, and I would like to present the following merit badges to the following people. Color guard advance, scout salute, or hand over your heart. Prepare to post the colors. Post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Next, I would like to introduce Reverend David Lawrence for the invocation.
Good afternoon. I'm the pastor at the Presbyterian Church, and it's truly an honor and a privilege to host Troop 169, just as it's an honor and a privilege to be asked to offer the invocation today. Please pray with me. God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as family, friends, leaders, as fellow scouts on this significant day in the life of Addison, Marcus, and Travis. Today is a celebration of a journey full of challenges, friendship, struggles, and occasionally a little fun. Today, we think of all the merit badges that were earned along the way, the oaths committed to. We remember the character of these young men and how we've watched it develop. We've seen their service to our community. We've seen how hard these three young men worked. Little by little, month by month, and year by year, they were faithful, and we celebrate their faith, their commitment, and hard work. So we ask for God's blessing on Addison, Marcus, and Travis. We pray for their families who supported and encouraged them. We pray for their fellow scouts who helped them along the way. God, bless the scout leaders. Bless Troop 169. And all of those who are here physically or in spirit. Continue to walk with these three young men as they take the next steps in becoming scouts and the people that you desire them to be. Amen.
Next, I would like to welcome Levi Webb, presenting merit badges and advancements to Troop 169.
Well, as you know, we have other scouts who have also been working on merit badges throughout the year, and I would like to present the following merit badges to the following people. When I call your name, if you would please come up and collect the award I have for you, that would be great. Marcus Smith has earned theater, stamp collecting, mammal study, and landscape architecture. Jacob Miller has met the requirements for shotgun shooting, camping, canoeing, basketry, wood carving, and game design. Alistair Mann has met the requirements for the first aid merit badge.
Really?
I know.
Troy Heil has met the requirements for the first aid merit badge. Alistair Mann has met the requirements for the fingerprinting, rifle shooting, automotive maintenance, crime prevention, and game design merit badge.
Get them later. Too many trips up front.
Don't want to get wiggly.
Gavin Kling has earned communication, emergency preparedness, cooking, swimming, reading, theater, personal management, collections, citizenship in the nation, personal fitness, astronomy, and game design. Aiden Smith has earned landscape architecture and family life. Isaac Webb has met the requirements for fingerprinting, fishing, crime prevention, chess, and swimming. Travers Mason has met the requirements for canoeing, cooking, pets. Damian Hefty has earned automotive maintenance. Carl Wallace has earned first aid merit badge.
Levi Webb has earned kayaking, small boat sailing, communication, citizenship in the nation. We also have some rank advancements that we'd like to give out. And when I call your name, if you could come up, and your parents. The first rank now in Boy Scouts is Boy Scout badge, and we have 3 who have earned this. Laura Wallace, Mason Shipley, Tyson Shipley. Boy Scouts. The next rank we have is second class. He's not here tonight, but Alistair Mann has completed requirement for second class. First class is the first class that we consider the young man is given all the skills that he needs to be able to take care of himself in the outdoors. We have one tonight who has completed this. At this time, we'd like to call Jacob Miller and his parents to come forward. First class scout, Jacob Miller. And we have 2 that have completed the rank for life, Gavin Klain and Levi Webb. Aiden, if you want to stand up just for a moment. Aiden Smith, turn around so people can see you, is our Master of Ceremonies tonight. He introduced himself, so I'll do it for you. So you'll see Aiden up here introducing people as we go. So Aiden will be in charge of this ceremony today. Next, I would like to also welcome all of you here this afternoon. And I would like to introduce to you first the Eagle Scouts who are here to join us in recognition of our 3 Eagle Scout recipients. And when I call your name, if you could stand up and be recognized, I would appreciate it. If I get to the end and I miss somebody, and I already see I was about to miss somebody, you need to let me know, if you would please. So, we will start, just a second, with Bob Mason. Warren Mason. David Mann. Tom Mason. Dean Stanley. I thought you said he was short. Dean Vanderhorst, who's in the back. Norm Yoder. Travers Mason. Marcus Smith. Addison Mann. John Culler. Jerry Culler. Mark Bassett. Myself, Tom Bassett. Did I miss anybody?
Johnny snuck in.
Who?
Johnny.
Oh, John Falubis in the back. I'm sorry I missed you, John. Are there any others? Welcome, Eagle Scouts. We appreciate that you're here. I think it's only appropriate that that we introduce to you now the families of our recipients. So I'm going to call your name. If you would stand and face that way and not me. I don't need to see you, but they will. So we'll start out with my paper. It says Addison Mann. Addison? You want to stand, Addison? Thank you. And then Addison's parents are David and Mandy. Brother Asa. His sister Audrey. I saw her down here on the end. So these are the Manns, if you just want to continue to stand. Then we have Marcus Smith. Parents, Carl and Melinda. And then brother Aiden. Then we have Travers Mason. Parents, Tom and Kate. These are the families of our 3 Eagle Scout recipients this afternoon. Thank you for coming. I think we owe them a round of applause.
Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Robert Mason for the significance of the Eagle Scout Award.
Thank you. I'm Travers' uncle, and it's a favorite uncle. Okay. It's nice to know. It's a privilege to be here as a fellow Eagle Scout. What does it mean to be an Eagle Scout? It's the highest honor that a Scout may achieve. To have reached the rank of Eagle Scout remains an extraordinary accomplishment, an achievement reached by a few Scouts. In Scouting, reaching the rank of Eagle Scout not only means for one's strength of character, but it also signifies that the recipient has gained knowledge and experience in all aspects of Scouting. To become an Eagle Scout requires years of dedication and hard work. It is a rank that is earned and not given. The merit badges attached to one's sash are symbols of life skills that have been studied, learned, and practiced, so that these skills become part of the Eagle Scout's DNA. Achieving the rank of Eagle Scout remains a testament of the successful completion of a series of goals that teaches a young individual about the importance of community, nation, and the world around them, while underlying the importance of respect of others, regardless of differences. An Eagle Scout leads by example and is able to lead a group while gaining respect from both peers and elders. An Eagle Scout has strong personal character, as reflected in one's service to others at church, home, school, and community. An Eagle Scout knows that cheerful service to others, whether at church, home, school, or community, is an important basis of good citizenship. When a young individual enters Scouting, the Scout is required to memorize and practice the Scout Oath. Let's review the oath for a moment. On my honor, I will do my best to do duty to God and country, to obey the Scout Law. What is the Scout Law? The Scout Law has 12 points. Each is a goal for every Scout. A Scout tries to live up to the law every day. It's not always easy to do so, but a Scout always tries. A Scout is trustworthy. Tell the truth and keep promises. People can depend on you. A Scout is loyal. Show that you care about your family, friends, Scout leaders, school, and country. Helpful. Volunteer to help others without expecting a reward. Friendly. Be a friend to everyone, even people who are very different than you. Courteous. Be polite to everyone and always use good manners. Kind. Treat others as you want to be treated. Never harm or kill any living thing without good reason. Obedient. Follow the rules of your family, school, and pack. Obey the laws of your community and country. Cheerful. Look on the bright side of life. Cheerfully do tasks that come your way. Try to help others be happy. Thrifty. Work to pay your own way. Try not to be wasteful. Use time, food, supplies, and natural resources wisely. Brave. Face difficult situations even when you feel afraid. Do what you think is right despite what others might be doing or saying. Clean. Keep your body and mind fit. Help keep your home and community clean. And reverent. Be reverent towards God. Be faithful in your religious duties. Respect the beliefs of others. And finally, of the oath, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. An Eagle Scout has not only memorized both the Scout Oath and Law, but is embodied both within their own character by practicing every day. As fellow Eagle Scouts, you are now among a select group of individuals that have earned the rank. Some have become celebrities, such as Mike Rowe, host of Dirty Jobs, famous film directors such as Steven Spielberg, business magnates such as J. Willard Marriott Jr., chairman and CEO of Marriott International, astronauts and explorers such as Neil Armstrong, first man to walk on the moon, and adventurous Steve Fawcett, soon to be retiring U.S. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, political leaders such as Robert Gates, former U.S. Secretary of Defense and Indiana's own U.S. Senator Richard Lugar, novelist Clive Cussler, William Hanna, founder of Hanna-Barbera Animation Studios, Michael Bloomberg, Bloomberg Company founder and former New York City mayor, President Gerald Ford, Governor of Texas Rick Perry, and finally Sam Walton, founder of Walmart. At the same time, there are countless Eagle Scouts representing many professions and walks of life that may not lead to celebrity status, but make differences in our world every day. For those of us in the business world, the achievement of rank of Eagle Scout stands out when recruiting talent. And as advice given to me by my uncle, I personally encourage you to find ways to always include your Eagle Scout award on your resume. The Eagle Scout is the highest and most coveted award in all of Scouting. Since its inception in 1911, only 4% have earned the rank of Eagle Scout. Today's ceremony represents a climax and goal that each one of you have been investing for years. It is also thanks to the culmination and efforts of your parents and your leaders who supported you in Scouting and believed in you. This is a day for pride and celebration for all. Even though you have now reached Scouting's highest honor, your journey as an Eagle Scout is just beginning. During your lifetime, you will be tested regularly in maintaining the values and ethics that you have learned during your years in Scouting. There are many temptations in today's world that will tug at you to stray you from the values of leadership, citizenship, and responsibilities set before you. You are equipped with the resources you need to make right choices to better our society. As is often said in Scouting, when you are encouraged to leave camp cleaner than you found it upon departure, you will leave this world a much better place thanks to your leadership and achievements. Congratulations, fellow Eagle Scouts, on achieving Scouting's highest rank. The world today certainly needs more young men like you, and we look forward to the good works and life achievements that await you. Thank you.
Next, I introduce Mr. David Mann to salute the Eagle Scout man.
Good afternoon, Scouts. If you would go ahead and break up into your patrols, we're going to cover some first aid skills. My name is David Mann, and I was asked to introduce one of the Eagle candidates. If you know who I am, you'll know who he is. Before I do, I'd like to take the opportunity to acknowledge those that have gone on before him. My father and his brother, because of their gypsy lifestyle, My grandpa man was in construction, and so they had to travel as they went to job sites throughout the states. And so they were not able to enjoy Scouts as youth. But later in life, when they had families, they became very active in their Scouts and their sons. And both of them received their silver beavers, which I wear in honor of my father. Myself, my brother, and all of my male cousins on the man side of the family are all Eagle Scouts. And so the Scout that I introduced to you, Addison Clark Mann, is following in the footsteps of his family. Would you please come forward and stand next to the American flag? As I was thinking how to introduce the young man who stands before us, I was very honored when I was asked as an assistant scoutmaster. Don't hide behind the flag. I was very honored as an assistant scoutmaster of Tom's troop to be asked to do this. And then as his father, it filled me with great joy. How can I explain to you the young man who stands before you today in such a way that measures, quantifies, and weighs who Addison is? So I began to think of how I could do this presentation, and very quickly I too gravitated to the Scout Code as a guideline. So if you'll join with me, I'm going to go through line by line and explain to you just a little bit about the character, the nature, and the quality of Addison Clark Mann. On my honor. And today, where honor is sold for a price and is traded, it is a very hard thing to be honorable. And Addison, as old as he is an honorable young man. He has always had a sense of duty, whether it's to the family name, or whether it's to the character of what other organizations he's been a part of, to conduct himself in such a way not to bring shame or disgrace to that organization or to the family. I will do my best. As I was hurrying around this afternoon, as all Scout families do, waiting for those last details to get together, I was consoled that we don't have to be perfect. Addison, as he has moved through the ranks, he did his best. And that measure of best can only be measured by his conscience, as is for everyone else. We only know if we do our best if our conscience says so. There's no way to measure that. And at the end of the day, when you're tired, and you're beat down, and you know you've done your best, you know you've succeeded. To do my duty to God, Addison has come with us to church many Sundays, and felt it necessary to become baptized at a young age. He approached us. And it was my joy again to be a part of that celebration of him and to the family of God. He lives his life in such a way as Christ asked us to live our lives to sacrifice for others and to love your fellow man. To God and my country, Addison is very patriotic. He takes after me and others. He loves his country. He loves what it stands for, the freedom and the liberty that we all enjoy because of the sacrifice of those who have gone on before us. To obey the Scout law, as the individual before me went through the law, it is a measure of things that cannot be seen. Character, qualities of honor, integrity. Those things that late at night when you're all by yourself are the true measure of did you do your best. In many ways, Addison has obeyed those laws. Not perfect. He has broken some of them, but that's part of the learning process. He has turned back to them time and time again. I will say of the 4 children that my wife and I have, he is the most honest. We never had to ask twice. We would get the truth the first time with much tears and much sorrow. Which tells me that the the essence of the law and the truth is within him. He was easy. Number one son was easy. And I thank God. To help other people at all times, even to a fault. We grew up in a small town, still there, and we have a sandbox. And as a dutiful father, I wanted my children to have the best sandbox toys of anybody in Hudson. So, much to my wife's chagrin, I went into eBay and I bought those toys that I could never have when I was growing up. I had one of them. We would go down on Saturdays with our wagon full of sandbox toys, and we would get down there and all the children of the town would come around and they were like, "Are those yours?" And I would say, "Well, yes, they're mine and Addison's." "Well, can we play with them?" And I would say, "You have to ask Addison." So then they would say, "Can we play with them?" And he would say, "Yes." And they would all disappear. And then he would look at me like, "Where's mine?" And I said, "You gave it away." But that's from his heart. Addison lives his life through his heart. He helps other people at all times. And it's only just one of many things. Funnier. And as he continues to grow up, if you go to his table of achievements, you'll see that he and other young people in the community work together for a PBS TV show on teenage suicide and how to help those that find themselves in that dark place to get out of it and become aware of it and look for signs. So even as he's continued to mature, he is continuing to help other people at all times. To keep myself physically strong. He eats too much pizza, but what teenager doesn't? He says it has all the food groups, and it's the same argument that I use with my parents, so I really can't fault him. Physically strong. There was many times that I, as a father, felt like Tevye, the character in Fiddler on the Roof, who on one hand, I could let my son experience the pain of life and learn a lesson, or on the other hand, I could shelter him from it. As I was driving here, I was reminded of a time he was a very young man, about 5 or 6, again. That's the fun time of life. Everything is new and wonderful. And he was hunched over like little chaps do. If I were to get in that position, I'd fall over backwards. And he was doing something in the middle of the yard that I was not aware of anything that was of any interest at that point in the yard. So I carefully crept up behind him, and as I looked over his head, I saw he was petting one of those big, fat, yellow and black bumblebees. Instinctively, I grabbed him by the collar, pulled him back to a safe distance, and I said, "What on earth are you doing?" To which he said, "Dad, I'm petting the bee." I said, "Why on earth are you petting the bee?" He said, "Because it's fuzzy and it feels good." I said, "My son, there is something very sharp and awful at the end of that bee." And he says, "Dad, I am faster than the bee." And in that moment, I, like Tevye, felt, what should I do? So I decided to let life teach him a lesson. It was not going to be permanent, might leave a scar, but it would be a teaching time. Later on in that day, I noticed that my son was missing from the yard, and I heard the whimpers from around the side of the house, so I walked around to the side and found him with his hand behind his back, crying. And I said, "What happened, son?" He said, "The bee didn't sting me. The bee didn't sting me." I said, "What's wrong with your finger?" "The bee stung my finger." So we got an icicle, and we took care of that, or an ice pop, and helped everything out. The next week he saw some young men in our town make the big ramp that we all did when we were young, so we could jump off and look like, in my day and age, Evel Knievel. And he said, "Dad," he said, "I want to build this big ramp. Can I use the materials?" I said, "Sure, go for it." And he says, "Why did you say yes so fast?" And I said, "Because you want to do it." And he said, "Would I get hurt?" And I said, "Maybe. I'll do it later." He built a smaller ramp. But from those experiences, he has become a physically strong young man. He has kept his body in good shape. He has kept things out of it that would harm it. And he's staying relatively active. Mentally awake. Addison does a lot of research on his own. He does not use the internet necessarily for games, but he also uses it to find out the internal question of why. Why? I remember at a restaurant, we shared a meal together. It was a dad-son date. And he was about 5 or 6, and he said, "Dad, why does an engine work?" And I said, "You like in a car?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, because you put gas in one end and the engine does something with it and then it runs." He says, "No, I want to know the whole thing." So in about 5 minutes time, I explained the internal combustion processes of a 4-cycle engine. And then as I finished up, my booth began to shake, and I turned around and realized the guy behind me had been listening, and he had a small son of his own, and he understood exactly the frustration that I went through. But Addison continues to grow mentally, to not just take the answer of "because I said so," or the answer that maybe the crowd is listening to, but he does the research himself, not only in the physical world, but also in the spiritual, concerning God and the things of the Spirit. And morally straight. We finish up the Scout Oath with morally straight. He's a rule follower, just like me. Rules he fences, he stays inside the lines, he follows the rules, and when he bends them or leans over, he accepts the consequences, learns from his mistakes, and continues forward in a good, right path. I introduced to you Addison Clark Mann as an Assistant Scoutmaster of 169, but I also introduce him to you as my son, who I can say, "Well done on your scout journey." I am very pleased.
Next, I introduce Mr. John Keller for the salute to Eagle Scout Smith.
Marcus, if you would please join me up front. So mine, Dave, great job. I'm not his father, as Carl over there, so mine's going to be a lot shorter. I don't have near as good a stories as he had. But I'm going to give you what I have on Marcus, what he provided me, and what I have from my knowledge, as well as some of the stuff that's in the program. Marcus was born on July 15, 2003. He attended school at Oak Farm Montessori in Avila, McKinney Harrison in Auburn, and DeKalb Middle School and High School in Waterloo, where he will graduate from this spring. He will be heading to Purdue University at West Lafayette this fall to study aerospace engineering, correct?
Yes.
So you're going to be up there someday? Or just putting people up there?
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see on that. He joined Cub Pack 3169 in August of 2010, where he earned the Bobcat, Tiger, Wolf, Bear, Webelos, and Arrow of Light awards. During his time in the pack, he participated in the Pinewood Derby, where he won the Tiger Den race in 2011, was 4th in the pack in 2013, and 2nd in the Webelos Den in 2014. And while he also earned the Best Crash Award from the Cubmobile event? Was that Pinewood Derby actually Cubmobile?
That was couple.
Cubmobile. And were you hurt?
Not bad.
Not bad. All right. So you're up there with the bee sting kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. He joined Boy Scout Troop 169 in May of 2015, where he held the positions of Den Chief, working with the Cubs still in Pack 3169. Quartermaster, Scribe, Assistant Senior Patrol Leader for 2 different terms, Senior Patrol Leader, and Junior Assistant Scout. He was the troop's runner-up for the Harold Smith Outstanding Scout Award in both 2017 and 2018, and the recipient of the award in 2019. He became a member of the Order of the Arrow in 2017 and joined the ceremony team, working myself and many other scouts in 2019. During his time with the team, they have won a state conclave championship every year since he has joined. He is also a current vigil ceremony chief for Kiskakan Lodge. He served as chapter chief for Pokagon chapter and is currently in his 2nd term as lodge vice chief of inductions for the lodge. He also was awarded the Kiskakan Lodge Founders Award for 2020. This is the highest award that the lodge is allowed to give out from the national office for a youth as well as an adult. One each year. Marcus received the youth one last year. So before we go any farther, I like to do this when I do some Eagle stuff like this, so I'm going to make it again. It's time to recite the OAO. Raise your scout hand, scout sign. I do hereby promise.
I will always and faithfully observe and preserve the traditions of the Order of the Earl, Wamatane, Wingalasik, Otahemalike. I will always regard the ties of brotherhood in the Order of the Earl as lasting, and will seek to preserve a cheerful spirit in the midst of irksome tests and weighty responsibility. I do so endeavor, as far as my power lies, to be unselfish, considerate, and devoted to the welfare of others.
I make Marcus do this because, as he said in there, as far as in my power lies, he's been writing next to me for many years, from this meeting to that meeting, and troop meeting to troop meeting, doing OA elections, conducting OA meetings and stuff like that. And this month, do you remember how many days we're busy this month? 14 days this month. He and I are writing from this meeting to that meeting together to conduct ceremonies and conduct business. So after this month's over, because our elections are over at the end of this month, Marcus, like I said, will be off to Purdue. I got to find somebody new to ride along next to me. Marcus, thank you very much for being on my side. So last thing, he's traveled all over the country as well as all over this 5-county area with myself to these meetings. With the Scouts. He attended the National Jamboree in 2017. He went to West Virginia with the troop last summer. Went to Tennessee with the troop 2 years ago, I believe it was. And he went to Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico in 2019, and he's going back to the troop again this summer in June. So he's looking forward to a second trip out there. Marcus, congratulations. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Next, I introduce Mr. Jed Friels for the salute to Eagle Scout Mason.
They say as you go through life, you cannot live completely unless you have people to look up to. I realized as a young lad that it was easy to find those people until I started getting older. And then I realized you could find people to look up to that were younger than you. And as I got to know Travers Mason more and more, he became that young man I looked up to. No, I mean literally, he's taller than me. I really I have to look up to him. But no, realistically, I discovered once again that youth can inspire. Not just each other, but those of us that have walked the grounds that they walk also. Now, fortunately for you, your uncle, Mr. Mason, and Mr. Mann and Mr. Culler have already delivered half my speech. Okay? But I'll paraphrase some of it, and we'll add to it. Because my job right here is to really tell you a little bit more about Travers. I watched Travers from afar as he was growing up, a member of our community. Then I got to begin watching him closer. As a middle school student, then as a high school student. It was in those moments where I began to see those attributes of a scout. That was before I knew that he was a scout. Now, I've long been a supporter of Mr. Bassett and all of the people that support him and this troop. Obviously, when you look across the number of Eagles turned out of here, it's amazing. Once I knew that Travers was part of that organization, I was excited. Because first of all, did I not only know that he had the family values that it takes to succeed in this world, he now had this troop. That alone helped me understand that Travers Mason would walk the path that so many of us had. When I was a scout, our books weren't neatly bound like yours with the spiral one. I will say that the copyright in my scout books, and the day I got them, is older than most of the people in this room. One of them, exactly 50 years to the day now. But they have changed my life, as they will yours. Let's talk about Travers. Travers lives the scout motto, the scout oath, the scout way that we've talked about. Be prepared. I have never known this young man not to be prepared. From the first days I saw him in student government at the middle school, he was prepared. As he walked into my class the very first day on his assignment and his lab book was done. So was Marcus's. But he was prepared. Not only was he prepared to understand why, and what it meant, what he was learning. And he wanted to know what it was about. He watched attentively and he grew each and every day. He lives the life of a scout, preparing every single day. Fortunate for me, our paths would continue to cross. I watched him on the athletic fields. I watched him on the track. I watched him on the cross-country course. I watched him on my stage, where he had the privilege to be in one of those shows that his grandfather had been in so many, many years ago. And I watched him maybe get his first kiss that day. But he was prepared. I think he had been preparing for it ever since he got the role.
No comment.
And while I say that lightly, though, I know nothing that Travers has taken lightly and not prepared for. I watched him prepare himself in the fine arts department over and over and over. Whether that is in the jazz ensembles, whether that's part of the band, or even volunteering his orchestra skills to help out those choral departments or places where he didn't have to be. Do a good deed daily. I've watched him prepare himself to do the very best he can. My son told a story, who also has Travers now, that they had just finished delivering a lesson the other day in the class that my son teaches. I believe it was physics. I can never remember exactly which physics level it is, but the highest. And when he looked up, Travers was prepared and understood and ready to move forward on to the next lesson. He continues to prepare himself for every single thing that he commits to. That was your dad's phone in the middle of yours.
I know.
Some of us prepared by silencing our phones before. What is it about preparing as a scout that makes a difference? I will tell you this, Travers. If we all knew the future, we would prepare for our lives in a different way. But scouting, as you have well learned, teaches us to prepare for what we don't know. By preparing for what we don't know, we truly do leave the world a better place. We walk into camp and leave it a better place. My scoutmaster was a stickler on preparing the firewood and keeping it dry and having it prepared for the next group before we left camp. Because we didn't know how they'd come into camp. We didn't know if they'd be prepared or not, but he was a stickler on that. That's the scout that Travers Mason is. He wants things to be better. I've watched him in these situations at school, and almost daily, he tries to make other people's days better. A statement that goes around our school, which I've stolen from Travers and used quite often. No matter what the day, no matter what's happening, that particular day is the best Wednesday of the week. Or best Friday of the week, or best Monday of the week. And now when I see him coming in the door, I do try to credit him with, as Travers Mason would say, it's the best Tuesday of the week. But that truly is the philosophy that he lives with. If he can live today as it is the best day of the week, then it will be the best day of the week. And that is preparing for the future. Your uncle mentioned Steven Spielberg. And the thing I loved about Steven Spielberg's journey to eaglehood is it's much like yours. He was creative. He wanted to be better. He wanted to make other people better. When he went to get his camera merit badge, he went to his scoutmasters and said, hey, as much as I want to get this merit badge, my family just bought a movie camera. Now, these were the old types of movie cameras where you really had to get it developed and it was a little on a reel and yada yada. The scoutmasters decided to let him rearranged the merit badge just a little bit, and he produced his first movie called Gunsmog, a takeoff on Gunsmoke that was 3 minutes long. If his creativity from his scouting wouldn't have been there that day, would he have become what he was in the future later? I would venture to say not. If his scoutmaster would have said, no, you have to do it this way, would he have become the person that he was? I doubt not. You were the kind of scout that continues to travel that journey and make a difference in the world. I see that all the time in the common ground you have with your fellow students. Doesn't matter who they are, where they walk, or what they're a part of, you try to make them better. Every single day when most kids are rushing to class, most kids are walking in late, most kids are trying to get their homework ready for first period, Travers comes to school and goes to the office. Now, not because he has to, don't worry. He volunteers his day every single start time to lead the entire school in the Pledge of Allegiance. That's scouts making other people better. That is dedicating themselves to making everyone better. And it is that common ground that will take you farther and move you forward. And President Ford, the only president to receive his Eagle Scout, received his Eagle Scout in 1927. He had no idea that he would become president of the United States. And it wasn't until 1974 that he actually received the Scout of the Year award. Now, if he could have looked into the future, would he have done things different? Would it have changed it? Nobody prepared, just like you did. You and I were talking about your future just the other day. Med school, commitment, have a plan, Notre Dame. If I can make it all happen, here's where I see myself. That is preparing. That is the Scout way. And you live that every single day. I think, Travers, what I want you to know most is this. When it comes down to being a good scout, as your uncle said earlier, the journey is really just beginning. None of us know where we will end up. You know, I've had that conversation. I'm part of the 96% that never finished, right? Because life caught up, life got busy, other contracts and other things happened, and before you knew it, I was 19. And that life was a great accomplishment, but I just missed, right? However, by preparing, by having the adults in your life and the fellow scouts and the people here that you try to make better, you make yourself better. And I believe that's what all of the Eagle Scouts sitting in this room do. They continue to walk the path that makes each other better. There are other Eagle Scouts here that I had the privilege to teach and coach and see over the years. And I've watched them grow and continue to come back and make people better. And Travers, that's what I know you will do. You are surrounded by a troop that will support you forever, a family that will support you forever, a career, no matter what it turns out to be, maybe the next Steven Spielberg. Who knows?
Who knows? Who needs answer first?
When you accept that, though, you're going to land somewhere really positive. I'll leave you an example like right now that Travers and I are dealing with. We've decided to do a 2015 Broadway show for our musical, Big Fish. It is one of the most difficult musicals to possibly produce, even from a professional standpoint. And we've decided to do it. Travers has the leading role in that show. I should say one of. An extremely difficult, emotional journey, though. But already the day I gave him the script, he was going through it, not only just learning the lines, but learning the man. So that he could deliver that role to the best of his abilities. That's what makes you exceptional, Travers. That's why you will rise and continue to make a difference. And I know that with all the other Eagle Scouts here, you'll continue to walk and continue to be prepared and continue to do those good deeds daily. Is it good turns daily now? Yeah, you know, when I was a scout, we learned to do a good deed daily. I don't know, maybe I just didn't learn it quite right. Okay? I'm going to look it up as soon as I sit down. But if you do that, like you have so far, the world is going to be a better place. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't overemphasize how important it is for you to be in the audience when Travers steps on the stage as Will Bloom as Big Fish. That's a
Last weekend in April.
You know, that was the shameless plug.
Okay, now the contract's gone.
But only because I truly see that as a continuation of his journey and what he has done so well to make so many people better than what they are around him. Travers, I couldn't be prouder of you. I wish you the very, very best of luck. And know that all of us here will always be there to support you in the future. Okay?
Thank you.
Travers.
Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Tom Bassett for the Eagle Scout Challenge.
If I could have Addison, Marcus, and Travers, if you could just come up front, please. You could, right there. And actually, what I'll have them do is face me, because what I'm about to deliver really is for them. Get a little bit closer, guys. There you go. I've been asked to deliver a challenge, a charge. And it's something that I believe is important. You know where you came from and what's in store for you. This is a charge. I have this honor to give you this Eagle Scout charge on this occasion of your elevation to the highest award in Scouting. The Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant movements in the world's history. You have been judged by Boy Scouts of America as being worthy of this honor. All who know you rejoice in your achievement. Your position, as you well know, is one of honor and responsibility. You are marked men. As an Eagle Scout, you have assumed the solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to country, to your fellow Scouts, and to mankind in general. This is a great undertaking. As you live up to your obligations, you bring honor to yourself and your brother Scouts. America has many good things to give you and your children after you. These good things depend for the most part on the quality of her citizens. Our country has had a great past. You can help them make the future even greater. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with a solemn dedication. Be a leader, but lead only toward the best. Lift up every task that you do and every office you hold at a high level of service to God and your fellow man. So live and serve, that those who know you will be inspired to finer living. We have too many who use their strength and their brains to exploit others and to gain selfish ends. I charge you to be among those who dedicate their skills and ability to the common good. Build America on a solid foundation of clean living, honest work, unselfish citizenship, and reverence for God. And whatever others may do, you will leave behind you a record of which every other Scout may be justly proud. Scout Addison Mann, Marcus Smith, Travers Mason, you will rededicate yourself by repeating the Scout oath. Repeat it slowly. Resolve to uphold forever its principles with the same ambition and perseverance that have brought you this far. If you turn around and face the audience, give the Scout sign,
You repeat it together, on my honor.
I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law at all times, to help people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Your conduct along the trail has been excellent. You have rededicated yourself to the principles of Scouting. But one more thing is important, your future. As an Eagle Scout, you become a guide to other Scouts. You become an example in your community. Remember that your actions are now a little more conspicuous, and people will expect more from you. You folder in your responsibility will not only reflect on you, but your fellow Eagles and all the Scouting. The torch you carry is not only yours, it is also ours. I charge you. Congratulations. At this time, I would like to invite to the front parents of these fine young men. I spent a great deal of time trying to think what I want to say. We're already an hour into this program. I could be kind of brief here on my thoughts. All three of these young men came into the troop about the same time. And it wasn't long after they became a member of the troop that they each had a goal. And that goal was to become an Eagle Scout. But you know, there are certain characteristics that all Eagle Scouts share. But we also know that every Eagle Scout and every other Scout that comes into this troop, and any troop, they all are all a little bit different, even though they all come together with one goal. I'd like to briefly go through my observations of these three young men. I'll start with Addison. He did pass his Eagle Board a year ago. But you know, when Addison came in, one thing I noticed about him, he was a young man who cared a lot about traditions and the way Scouting used to be. He was focused on being the best in skills, whether it be compass work, fire building, the skills of the Boy Scout. You notice he's wearing a campaign hat. Okay, this is Addison. This was what he brought to our troop. He was a patrol leader. This is what he wanted to do, was teach skills to these young men. He was very good at it. He carried that on to his Eagle Scout project. We haven't mentioned the Eagle Scout projects up here, but I believe, when I look at these three young men, that their Eagle Scout projects very much done in the characteristics of who they are. For Addison, he refurbished playground equipment in Hudson, something that probably hadn't been done for who knows how long, and that was attested by the fact that they couldn't get some of the parts apart. And I don't know if they ever did.
Still working.
Still working on that. But that was his Eagle project. It was something that really was him. Very much skills oriented. Then we have Marcus. Marcus came into the troop. One of the things I noticed about Marcus is he was kind of laid back. Okay, very laid back. Never seemed to get angry or upset. He was a young man who turned out that he enjoyed being a leader. And that was spoken of earlier when John talked about the positions that he held. And he continues that to this day. When he got into the Order of the Arrow, he didn't stop being a leader in the troop. Continued to take that on as, I think, currently a lodge officer, the vice chief in the lodge, Episcopal Lodge number 75. For his Eagle Scout project, he had benches made, put into a park. then had a little library installed. Something that pretty much reflected who he was. Kind of laid back, offered something to the public that they could enjoy by themselves or whatever. That's how I kind of view Marcus. Strong and solid. And always there. You've heard about Travers. Okay? Mr. Friel's outstanding. How we talked about Travers. Travers is somebody, and I hope you take this the right way, it's kind of like a social butterfly. Okay? Very good at what he does, and everything he wants to be the best he can be. Whether it be in student government, as a leader of the student government, president, I think, of his class. He went and, now I'm beginning to lose my train of thought here. In musicals and plays, as we just heard, as a lead. Okay, not everybody has that kind of a talent. All right, but they're willing to get up in front of people, rely on their memory to deliver a line, and if they forget it, still has the ability to get through it anyway without messing up any more than it has to be, like I'm doing right now. So,
We think it's to kiss the girls.
is that what it is?
Pretty much.
Tracy.
And maybe what is, what to me shows his perseverance is his desire to be the best he can and play the violin. And we all know that this is not an easy thing, but he practices day in and day out to be the best violin player that he can be. This is Travers. His Eagle project is he built a butterfly garden, Smith Farms Manor, for the veterans to enjoy. Something that people could get out and enjoy what he did and have some time. This is Travers. I am proud to have been their scoutmaster. These three young men. I'm glad that we're able to do this all today. Eagle Award, Scouting's highest. Today, 4, 5, or 6% is all that have the opportunity to have this program. You'll notice on all three of the Eagle Awards that are presented, there are palms. A palm represents 5 merit badges earned after the 21 required to become an Eagle Scout. For Addison, it's a bronze palm. For Travers, it's a silver palm, which means he's earned 3. Bronze is first, gold second, silver third. And for Marcus, you'll have 2 of them on his. He's earned the silver and then another bronze, which means there's 20 merit badges earned, well, the 21 required for Eagle Scout. That's why you see little palms on here. Okay, not everybody has that opportunity. Because most of the time, come 18, when they turn in 18, they've got just enough because they waited until the last minute to get it done. Okay? Time and time again, I've seen it. These young men had some time and earned a lot of merit badges. So at this time, what I would like to do is present the mothers the Eagle Scout Award that they can pin on their son.
Straight in, it'll stick.
Now, we know full well that they did not do this by themselves. There's a lot of encouragement by parents along the way to get to this point. And what I would like to do at this time is present to the Eagle Scout mother's pin. They can put it on their mother. I have been very fortunate that the fathers of these three Eagle Scouts became a part of our troop. And I can't calculate the number of untold hours that they've given this troop and to me, and how valuable they are to this program. They too are going to be recognized with Father's Day. Boy Scouts of America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout Addison Marcus Travers, in recognition of successful completion of all requirements for Scouting's highest rank, then signed by the National Chair, the President, and the National Commissioner. This time I would like to have the fathers, that they would present these certificates to their sons. Scouts, leaders, family, and others who are here tonight, I present to you Boy Scout Troop 169's newest Eagle Scouts.
Next, I would like to introduce the Auburn Elk Lodge, number 1978, with Mr. Bill Schaub and Mr. David Myers.
First of all, on behalf of our exalted ruler Dave Myers and our esteemed leading knight Heather Stanley, who will be next year's exalted ruler, I would like to thank all three of you for allowing us to be a part of your Eagle Scout Court of Honor this afternoon. Over these past 32 years or so, we at the Auburn Elks Lodge have been very privileged to be a part of, with the three of you now, 88 of these Eagle Scout Courts of Honor. And it never ceases to amaze us at the amount of hard work and dedication that it takes to attain the rank of Eagle. And the three of you are certainly no exception. By everyone that is here this afternoon, by everything that has been said, it's very obvious that the three of you are wonderful examples of what Eagle Scouts should represent. But you know, over these past 32 years, we've also been very impressed, as mentioned earlier, by the amount of support that all of the Eagles have received from their families, their friends, the troop, and of course, Scoutmaster Tom. This is something to be very proud of, and you should be proud of that. But in a testament to the strength of Troop 169. But in all honesty, this afternoon is all about the three of you and your tremendous achievements. Enjoy it, revel in it, but most of all, be very proud of your accomplishments. I know we are at the Auburn Elks Lodge. Now, we have actually 2 awards to present to each one of you. And what I'm going to do is I'll read through the first one, and then as we present them to you, we'll read your names. So, but the first one is going to Addison. So, presented to Addison C. Mann, Eagle Scout of Troop number 169, Auburn Lodge number 1978 of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, a fraternal organization, takes pride in presenting to you an American flag because you have demonstrated that you daily practice the teachings of democracy. We are proud to call you our fellow citizen because you have worked hard to prove that you believe in the United States as one nation under God with liberty and justice for all. As the red, white, and blue colors on the cloth blend to make a beautiful flag, so the skills you mastered have blended together to make you an outstanding citizen. So Addison, congratulations. Oh, there you go. You're all right. I told you. And why don't we go ahead and we'll get Marcus next. Marcus, congratulations. And Travis. Congratulations. Now, in that certificate, it states that you are now to receive an American flag, and this is on behalf of the Grand Lodge of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, but on behalf of Auburn Elks Lodge, number 1978, it gives me great pleasure to present each of you with your American flag. So, yeah. Congratulations. Now you'll notice this slight difference. We've been using this frame for 32 years, but like everything, they don't make it anymore. So, I assure you the only thing that's different about these are the frames. So we'll probably continue with this one, but congratulations to all 3 of you. We're very proud of you at the Auburn Elks Lodge. You betcha.
Travers, just set them on the table again.
Next, I would like to introduce the Kiwanis, featured by Mr. Ken Wilcox.
How old is your book? 50?
I forgot you were here.
72.
You're over 9.
I'm not going to do the presentation that I had planned to do. No fault of mine, circumstances, and I can't even be prepared on this one. I've got good news and bad news. But I'm going to do, there's 2 changes that would have been made anyhow, and then the third is also true. One of them just happened back there when Mr. Mason was up here doing his. A thought hit me, the importance of the Eagle Scout. I don't know how, some of you people, some of you are Eagles, so you know. Some of you are pretty close with Eagles, Some of you may not have a real good idea. There are things about the Eagle Scout that a lot of people are totally not aware of how important it is. February the 1st, 1957, that's 65 years ago, I went into the Air Force. When I got done with radio school, we received our first strike. These guys today, they got belts, so they go, we had to sew them on. I'm sitting on my footlocker, I'm sewing a strike on, and the guy across from me goes, hey, what? How come he's got 2? Who? So-and-so, I don't remember the name. I said, I don't know, ask him. Hey, how come you got 2? I'm an Eagle Scout. if an Eagle Scout goes into the military, this is all 5 branches, when everybody else is sewing one on, at that point, he jumps it. We were all airman basics at that point. When I became an airman 3rd, that guy became an airman 2nd. Now, if you're gonna be in for a career, that means if he was an officer, instead of a 2nd lieutenant, he would be a 1st lieutenant. See what you've done? You've jumped a number of years. So you get to be, you guys aren't gonna join in. I'm a
I guess we'll
recruiter.
see, we'll see how.
The second thing that's different, you know, I've talked to you different times about Kiwanis and what we do for youth. Monday night was our Kiwanis meeting, and one of the fellows gave us a report. We have what we call K Club, which is college. We have Key clubs in the high schools, and we have one called Action Club, spelled with a K, A-K-T-I-O-N. Action Club is people that are mentally challenged. We have one in our club here. It's over at Garrett. It's the Garrett Alliance Industries. I don't know if you're familiar with it. They make if you got something like one of these drink jugs or something, and they got the little doodaddy so the juice comes out, the spout. They make stuff like that. They need it to expand. Right behind them, 2 vacant lots, right behind their building. So they got a hold of the guy. He was formerly from Chicago and had worked with the mentally handicapped, mentally challenged. And so they got the lots at a very reasonable price. And the man that gave the report said we were lucky. I don't know about you people, but I do not believe in luck. I do not believe in coincidence. I believe in him. It was all laid out. God said, build your building here because those 2 lots are going to stay open for when you need them, and the guy that owns them worked with the mentally challenged people. I believe that was all laid out. That's good report. Now, I've got a prayer request. The plaques that I have been getting for the Eagles, I was getting through Dan Davis. He's got the woodworking shop by where the bowling alley is in Garrett. He's over, used to be a little diner. All right. Terrific man. We hit it right out. He does a beautiful job, beautiful job. I emailed Dan, gave him the 3 names, gave him this date. Normally he answers back, and after a couple days, he hasn't answered back. So I emailed again, asked him if he had received my email. No answer. I called his house at the answering machine. I had told him I'll stop by Friday afternoon. Frantic now. I thought he's got some made up. All he does is put down. I'll give him the blank ones. They give it back. We'll get the name. No problem. We'll be prepared. But we're not because they're close signs. I have no idea what is wrong with Dan. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Because Dan would never do that. So I don't know whether the man's sick. I don't know what. But whatever it is, I would ask you. All of you that believe in God, I'd ask you to be praying for Dan Davis. I'd ask you to put him in these prayers. I'm going to still challenge you guys. Remember, if you're going to be an eagle, then you're going to be an eagle. Does that make sense? You don't just carry the title, you live it. I never became eagle because I didn't get my first class swim till I was about 30 years old. I thought I'd never get it. I finally got it. There's no way back then you had to have either swimming or life saving, and they didn't have any merit badge for drowning. So I but I do want to congratulate you, gentlemen.
Next, we have the presentation to mentors by Addison, Marcus, and Travis.
A lot of people are instrumental in helping me get to my Eagle. It's really hard to find a single person to give something that means so much. But after a while of thinking, I think I have to give it to my dad. He was the most instrumental in it. He constantly pushed me. Not so much that he was the one doing the work, but so that I was able to see what it was worth and why it was worth so much. So, Mr. Mann, can you come up, please?
If you look it up on Google, it tells you how to do that.
Yeah, preferably sooner than that.
So I had a lot of help while doing my Eagle Scout award and my project. And over the years, I've gotten to know so many great adults. I consider myself lucky. I've had a lot of great leaders in the troop, and I've had a lot of teachers that I like in both the middle and the high school, as well as in the elementaries in Oak Farm Montessori. And of course, I'd also like to thank some of my friends, because they continue to keep pushing me even after I maybe wanted to stop pushing myself. Now, when I was choosing my mentor, there was a lot of people that came to mind, as you know, I had gotten so much help over these years. But there was one person who really stuck out to me, one person who had been there since the very beginning. And I'd now like to present this mentor pin to Dr. Tom Mason.
Yeah, like they've already mentioned it. Everyone in this room, in some way, shape, or form, has helped all of us on our scouting journey. Even, giving me flu shots, or you know, friends, old friends. Everyone in this room has, in some way, helped me out on my journey. But regardless, there is one individual I'd like to really acknowledge today, and that is Mr. Carl Smith. Mr. Smith has been there since day one, just like Marcus, my dad has been for Marcus. Lots of great memories, summer trips, scouting events. Mr. Smith for all, so thank you very much. And with that. Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
by Addison, Marcus, and Travis.
All right, well, I guess you guys have never been too, but like we said, grandmothers especially have been there supporting, building our families, and without them, I mean, none of us would be here, but, just take a little special moment to recognize the pin, which is very small, so you guys can't see it, but has the Eagle Scout symbol with the flag in the background. I know Grandma Mason's been collecting these, so. Number 5? Is this number 5? Number 5. So with that, I'd like to decorate the room with these. Yes. Yes.
So my grandmas weren't always there at the Camp Breeze or anything. Not a huge surprise, but and they didn't always make it out to the Court of Honors, but that's all right as well. Because whenever I got home or whenever to visit them, they always encouraged me and always looked forward to seeing what I'd done, the experiences I had, and where I'd been. And they would always encourage me to keep doing it, get better at what I was doing, keep having fun. Make sure to go places and meet new people. So, thank you very much.
Now, like Addison said, grandparents don't really go camping out. In fact, my grandma's idea of camping out is probably taking her camper up to Big Sur Lake for a weekend with her friends. But when I started out on my journey, I had 4 grandparents, and well, 3 of them have passed on. I'm lucky to still have 1 left. So, Grandma Davis, thank you for being there, and thank you for being a part of my life and for taking me along and helping me to achieve this.
Next, I invite Levi Webb and Troop 169 for the retiring of the colors.
Color guard, please. All rise. Prepare to retire the colors. Retire the colors. Scout salute. Two. You may be seated.
One little part here, we need to do, each of our Eagles were asked if they wanted to say something at the end, and we kind of close it first, but we'll open it up to those if they want to say something.
Well, I've had so much help from the people in this room. I mentioned my friends, I mentioned my family, but there's a lot of people I want to thank, especially with my project. First up, I'd like to thank my church's congregation for helping me with my project and for letting me put my project in the biblical garden. I'd like to thank the Yoders, Peg and Norm, for allowing me, or for taking me to Purdue and for encouraging me along my path as an Eagle and as a student. I'd also like to thank Polly and Mark Bassett, because without them, I probably wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything in regards to stained glass. Turns out it's a lot harder than you might think it is, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm sure they did too, and I'd like to thank them for allowing me to use their time and resources to help me with the project. Along with the church, I'd also like to thank the Scout Troop, the Masons, my family, and everyone else who helped, especially with the Silers. They were especially instrumental in making sure that I managed to both get Eagle and as well as helping me with the different parts of my project. Since I am not a great carpenter or woodsman, as it would turn out, you need some help with that kind of thing. And lastly, I'd like to thank my fellow brothers in the Order of the Arrow. I've gotten to know a lot of people, from being a member of the ceremony teams, for being a member of our lodge's leadership. And I'd like to thank those that are here tonight and those that couldn't be here, because there is another OA meeting going on tonight. And I'd like to thank you for putting up with me all these years and for letting me be a better person. Thank you.
Addison, you want to say anything? I could. You did good. Travis?
All right, well, I wish I could say I'd like to thank the Academy, but that's a couple years down the road. So I guess, first off, my parents, between, making my pound derby cars, helping me. Well, the first one helping me make my pound derby cars, even if it was just, yeah. Yeah, they're over there. If you guys want to take them, just for, not worth, no. And my mom, I'd like to thank her for supporting me. I know we had some struggles with my Eagle project, and Mom was really there to help stick it out with me and encourage and provide that support, so thank you. I'd like to thank my friends and family, everyone here really, for in some way helping me out on my Eagle journey, whether that's buying Scout popcorn or helping me on my Eagle project. Thank you sincerely. I'd like to thank my friends, Marcus, Addison. Thank you guys for sticking this out with me. Thank you to the Scouts in the back for representing the troop, and thanks for coming today. So thank you everyone.
Since we've already closed, this concludes our Court of Honor for this afternoon. We have cake and water over here. We also would like to invite Addison, Travers, and Marcus and their parents to come up forward so that you can come up and congratulate them, and we'll just have them right up front. So thank you all for coming this afternoon. I appreciate your patience, and we'll see you another time.